Hi folks, welcome to Pop Pop Fizzle. I'm Jeff.
I'm Heidi.
And we are here to do a Let's Talk About. And this is just, we've only done one other Let's Talk About.
Two.
No, we've done some discussions that were called other things.
Oh, okay.
But as far as how we label these new little discussion things,
Okay,
Let's
so
Talk
let's
About. We
talk
only
about
had one. The last one was talking about James Gunn and talking about the late great John Schnapp.
Oh, yes.
And I did that one myself because you were out. You were at work.
Yeah. I do that a lot.
Slaving away and helping babies come into the world.
Something like that.
Something like that. But so tonight, though, we wanted to. We just actually got back from seeing Mission Impossible Fallout, so we just finished our non-spoiler and our spoiler review. You can look for those on the channel, but we wanted to take a few minutes to talk about MoviePass. And if you looked at the title for this video, you saw that that's what we were going to talk about.
Yeah, so many times we've mentioned the wonders of MoviePass.
Well, you almost said MultiPass.
I did almost say MultiPass.
MultiPass.
Of MoviePass, just because it has been, for a time, been a really great addition to our movie-going experience, and that Jeff can go see way more movies than he and I would have ever gone to go see.
Well, for us, that came into play because you gave it to me as a gift.
Yes, it was a good gift.
And I was very appreciative of that because I do enjoy movies, and I don't always get to see them as often as I would like.
Mm-hmm.
So something like MoviePass was a boon to us, and it really did prompt me to see some movies probably that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. And I think early on, that was the draw for me, was that I could take a risk on seeing some things that I wasn't sure about.
Yeah.
Movies are so expensive, and I know you know this, that, we have a family to take care of.
Yeah.
It can be a little prohibitive sometimes to go to the theater and see the big thing, and I can't always go and see the matinees because a lot of times we're dealing with kids and get carting them around and doing things. So sometimes those movies fall at weird times.
They do. Yeah, they fall at a time where it extends into a part of the day that
where I need to be picking somebody up or something like that.
Like that.
And so I wasn't always able to do that, and MoviePass came along and basically allowed me to go and take a chance on some things that I wouldn't have taken a chance on with our little bit of money, and that was awesome. I saw some good movies and I saw some bad movies, but I got to see them because of MoviePass, and so we were very excited about that. Now over the last 2 weeks or so,
a month even,
there have been some issues with MoviePass, and that's kind of why we wanted to talk about this today, just kind of open forum and discuss
chat.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But one of the things that happened, or one of the things that I noticed, was that I wanted to go and see, was it...
Mission Impossible, was it?
Well, yeah, but also there was an issue with Equalizer 2 when it first came out, that the... even though it was a new release, but it wasn't blocked, but their service went down.
Yeah.
That weekend. And so then we didn't find out until a few days later that the reason their service went down was because the company ran out of funds. They apparently borrowed $5 million over the weekend to get themselves back up and running. And then they threw out a new set of rules. And basically the way, and I say this because I don't want you to think that they're, I hear a lot of people using the term like rip off, or that they're trying to rip people off. But really, their contract with you says that they can change the terms at any time. So when you sign on, you're okaying that for them. So you can't act too surprised when they do it. Now, you hope that they won't do it.
Or you hope that they won't do it in such a way that... often.
Or in a way that's catastrophic.
Not in your favor.
Right.
But
they do have the authority to do it.
They do.
So what happened was that they ran out of funds, and they borrowed $5 million, apparently, and got everything back up and running. But these new rules said that they had already changed it, because when you first signed me up for it, I could see any movie I wanted to see as many times as I wanted to see it. And I could see one movie a day, and that was fine. And so there were many times when I would use MoviePass to go and see the same movie several times because I really liked it and I wanted to see it again, and so I would. Then they had changed that before this little...
that was, back in maybe March or April that they changed
before this lack of funding issue. They had already changed that rule so that you couldn't see the same movie more than once. And then This new rule change, they instituted that you would have to take, this was even before the fun thing, was that they instituted the thing where you had to take a photo of your ticket and upload it. And if you didn't, you could be dropped from the service altogether. After, you think you got one grace one, and then if you didn't upload your ticket again, then you could be dropped from the service. And I thought that was weird.
And I am trying to figure out, like, what the purpose of that was. Was it to prove that you actually got
I think it was a fraud prevention measure.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not sure
weird.
why. I'm not sure what they were seeing that caused them to do that. But it was a little awkward on the user end to use the app to take the photo and to do all that. And there was actually a time where I forgot to do it, and had thrown my ticket away, and then had to explain. And now it happened to be on it happened to be in the week that we found out that my aunt had passed away, and so I explained, listen, I was in the middle of a bunch of things, and it was kind of chaotic, and so I just misplaced it and or tossed it and didn't think about it, and they excused it. But this new rule change, basically, that was had happened before.
That was
then,
like maybe June-ish, May-ish, June-ish.
I forget. But then this new rule thing basically said that they were going to upcharge for premium, movies movie times that were especially busy, and or blackout films that were especially busy, like on the opening weekend, and that was what we ran into last weekend. I wanted to do a review for Mission Impossible Fallout last weekend and was unable to go because we didn't have the extra money for a movie jaunt, and MoviePass was non-functioning again for a day or two, and then they came back and we couldn't get, they had blocked those things and couldn't get them. So it's just been several months of issues of MoviePass being up and down and changing the terms. Today, I got another email with a change of terms, and the new terms are that they're sticking with the $9.95 model. How long they'll stick with that, who knows? But they are limiting now the number of movies that you can see to 3 a month.
And the thing is, I can understand that they did that market research, and I think in that email they said that most people don't see more than 3 movies a month, which, is fine. But I feel like, and we talked about this a little bit in the car, I feel like people who are responsible for crunching numbers on the business end of the agreement between business and customer just weren't really they completely underestimated how many people would want to go see movies more often now that they had the pass to do it. I think they were banking on maybe a few people, but I don't think they really realized what kind of surge that would produce. And I think they were really banking on a lot of people buying the service, thinking, well, I could at least see 1 movie a month, and I'll make it back. And then they would think, oh, they were going to make their money back that way too. And there are, I'm sure there are plenty of people who are letting their MoviePass collect dust somewhere, but I don't think that's the majority of users.
As far as if we're only looking at the business side, if we're talking business model, I still don't see how. If they are charging $9.95 for that membership and they're paying theaters
to take
for those tickets 3 times a month, if somebody only uses it, if somebody uses it the 3, they have to be counting on people to not use it or to use it just the one time. Otherwise, but even one time, what is that? That's not. There's no profit in one time.
There's no profit to be made here.
So I don't understand their business model, which makes me nervous anyway.
Yeah.
And it always has. To some extent, but I was willing to hop aboard and try it out and see and take advantage. I mean, really. And and it let me see things and review some things that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So I like that. But now we're sitting in a place where there's competition. Competition did not exist before. MoviePass was the only game in town, really. And now AMC has their A-List service, which for $19.95 a month. They're not a sponsor, by the way. We're just talking about this in the context of
just competition.
Of competition, yeah. So we've had. I've been a Stubs member for a long time at AMC, so we use AMC on and off. I liked MoviePass. One of the things I liked about MoviePass is that I could use it at other theaters, some of which are much closer to me than the AMC.
Like a 5-minute drive versus a 20-minute drive.
Right, but we have enjoyed AMC experience for the most part, and we don't mind going to those theaters. The A-List program for $19.95 will let you see 3 movies a week. And they don't limit you to 2D, so you can see the Dolby, you can see the 3D, you can see the IMAX, you can see the whatever, 3 times a week. Now, it's only good for one person, so there's no family plan available or anything like that as of now. They're talking about that. But that sort of competition, you know, the thing is when you look at it, MoviePass is, let's just go with an example. Okay, so I pay MoviePass $9.95 a month, right? And I get to see 3 movies a month. So if I go see those 3 movies a month, they're out for 2 tickets that I didn't pay for, but I got to see.
Yep.
That's their business model. They're out.
Seems a little sketch.
Right. AMC, on the other hand, I pay $19.95, right? If I see 3 movies that week, right?
You've more than paid for it already.
I've been there. Yeah, I've more than paid for my end of it, right? But they know that most people are not going to see 12 movies in a month. For one thing, there aren't 12 movies in a month.
No.
A lot of people, unless you're a real movie fiend, and I can be about some movies, but unless you are, you're not going to go see the same movie more than once.
In the theater.
In the theater. So even if you have it and can do it, a lot of people aren't going to do that. They're not going to worry about finding a sitter or finding a spot in their schedule to go and do it or anything like that. So they're going to make money not only there, but when they're bringing you there, they're making money on concessions, most likely. And, you know, and people that like me, because A-List includes the Stubs benefits, they're earning points toward more concession stuff and other things. So, or off of a ticket. Like if I want to take you along, I can use the $5 off thing to get your ticket and do that.
Right.
Or the Tuesday movies for $5 thing.
Yeah,
so there are a lot of benefits that are packaged in with that, in addition to the free ticket. So it's easy to see how, even if you don't use AMC A-List to its fullest, it's still a money-making venture for AMC. MoviePass doesn't have that option. MoviePass isn't a theater chain. MoviePass is a membership-based service that needs members on board. And the only way that it seems like they can make money
is by hoping
is for people not to use their service.
Right.
And that doesn't make sense to me.
No, me neither.
It falls into the vague territory of paying people not to grow crops. A little bit. You know what I mean? It happens. But I never understand it. Like, it's like I get it, but I don't get it. It's like it's such an odd thing.
Yeah.
And I just don't see how MoviePass, as much as I've enjoyed it, can sustain the model that it has. Now, the latest email today, talking about the new changes, says that you get those 3 movies a month. If you want an additional viewing of something, you can get up to $5 off of that. And it's like, how is this going to last any longer than the model that you had if you're going to still be bleeding money?
Yeah.
I think they underestimate what people are willing to do to use free tickets. And, and I get that not everybody's in that position, but there are plenty of young people that don't have lives or things responsibilities that take up their time. Then they can go and use that thing to its fullest extent, and they're going to be bleeding money from those people.
Yep. And I think whoever came up with this plan, this scheme, decided that there were going to be fewer of those people and more people who weren't going to use it. So I feel like they just kind of misread the market research on that as well. So full disclosure, we do have a MoviePass for Jeff, but also Jeff has signed up for A-List. So tonight,
just because of the not today's rule change.
No,
but the previous one.
it's been at least like a week since you signed up for it, right? Or like 2 weeks, something like that. No,
it's been a few days.
Oh, okay, whatever.
This was literally the first free ticket I used.
Whoop whoop. Okay, so, but the thing is, one of the other things that he mentioned is that, as you said earlier, trying to use the MoviePass app is really awkward. And like as far as taking
well, it's not terrible, but having to do the ticket. Now they did away with that as of the rules today.
Oh,
having
to
did away
get
with the ticket verification. Yeah.
So that's gone. But like you have to be like within the vicinity of the theater to actually get it. So you actually have to drive out and go to the place to do it. Whereas like we were sitting in the garage and just Jeff was like, okay, we're purchased, and it was done. So AMC has more infrastructure.
And
for all
AMC, the way that they've set it up on their app, is that it shows you your week. So it shows you 3 blank spots, and you can set your reservations, and it'll show you those. It fills in those blank spots. You got a reservation here, and here, and here, and it'll show you all that. But you can still make reservations beyond that as long as you're making them in another week. And then when it turns to that week, it'll show you those reservations. So you can make reservations as far in advance as you want to.
Yeah, as far as there's a movie there to see, you can put it in there. So it's like that's so much more convenient. I feel like
it is, and I feel bad a little bit for the MoviePass people because I feel like they tried to offer a good service. They've tried to, and really, you said today they shook up the industry,
right? And that's they were a real disturber. This is going to change, everything
because AMC would not have done this,
right?
If it hadn't been for MoviePass coming in.
And the thing is, I think a lot of the other larger movie chains have always had some sort of loyalty program.
Right.
There's a Cinemark down the street, and I've noticed on their doors that they've got one there. And,
right.
And so all the other, those are the ones.
I'm pretty sure the Regal chain,
right,
all
they
that
have
stuff,
one
they have
also.
those,
So I feel like because of MoviePass, all of these theater chains are kind of gonna look at what they did right and try to.
And they're certainly going to look at AMC now, too. And they're going to be watching those numbers.
Yeah, foray it into their own loyalty programs and try to make them stronger. And I feel like this is a really strong loyalty program and for not that much more than what you were paying for.
You better believe that when AMC's quarterly report comes out, that you're going to see some action from some other chains. If there's been an uptick in the money that they brought in, you better believe that some of these other chains are going to jump on board because it doesn't cost them anything to do it.
Right.
They're bringing people on board. Some people, like we said about MoviePass, some people are not going to use those features to their fullest extent, so they're going to make money there.
Yeah.
People that do use it to their fullest extent are going to buy concessions. And, because here's the thing. If I go see 3 movies in a week, I'm not going to buy concessions every time, but I'm going to buy concessions at least one of them.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I feel like...
Because I can't go to the movies 3 times and smell all that popcorn and not get some.
Yeah, this is so...
I can be strong twice.
Or at least a drink.
Yeah, but I can't do it that long. So.
I feel like it's an interesting time for AMC to have rolled out with this, also because it's kind of in the area where you could see that MoviePass was kind of floundering a little bit, and so they're kind of trying to jump in on it. But as you were saying about quarterly reports, I feel like if there's something good happening for AMC in this, and the other movie market chains are going to try to get on board with their own loyalty programs in this fashion, they're going to want to do it before the holidays.
Yeah, and that's going to be the nail in MoviePass's coffin, I'm afraid, because I really don't understand how they're staying afloat now.
Well, they have to borrow all that money already.
Right.
So where's that
they're in the
coming
hole even for that.
And the thing is, I feel I've gone through their site a few times just trying to figure out what was going on, and full disclosure, try to figure out how to get a refund. Sorry. But I didn't see it, but I did see that they have been running like all sorts of promotions. So I get where they're coming from, where they're saying that, we're changing our model to see what works. So they've got some promotions going on with iHeartRadio and other things where people can buy in for quarterly sort of memberships. So they're trying out different things, and good on you guys for doing that. But I feel like...
But here's the thing. All those things are costing money.
Exactly that.
All of those partnerships, all of those attempts to acquire new members, they're putting money into all of those things.
Are.
The cost to bring in somebody new into the system is well beyond. Even if they pull in a year, because that's the sign up, right? It's for a year.
Yeah. Well, they
have a month to month.
They have a month to month.
But like we signed up for the year, right?
And I don't think they had the month to month when I signed up.
Right. So even if somebody prepays for a year,
that's all they've got.
They're not making much off of that because by the time you factor in what they spent acquiring that person, then you're talking about maybe 4 or 5 months of the money being pure purely paying for the tickets that they're using, and that's not covering it.
No, it can't. And
I really don't know how any of that works.
I don't either, and I feel like, I mean, I get where they're coming from, where they're doing some research and they're trying to figure out what model works, but I feel like, and it's a catch-22. There's no way they could have known what would have worked best without actually trying it all.
Sure.
So but the problem is, in this age, information goes way too fast and goes through everyone, and so what you're going to wind up with is a bunch of really grumpy customers who don't get to see the movies they want to see because of some
and
mishap.
They've already lost people.
They've
lost
they
people.
Have. Yeah.
So when you look at just looking at the current situation with only AMC as the real competition, AMC's a chain. They're making money every time somebody comes through, comes and puts a butt in a seat. MoviePass is not a movie company. MoviePass is using basically a Visa or MasterCard, I forget which it is, to pay for those. So AMC is making money from MoviePass. AMC is making money from A-List. And from all their tiers of stubs and whatever, they've got all those people on board too. They're in a win-win situation, and MoviePass really seems to be in a lose-lose situation.
Unfortunately,
and I get that on the one hand, it doesn't seem fair that MoviePass was the innovator and came into the market with something that people hadn't thought of before and said, "Hey, check us out! Look at what we can do." And now they're in the position of they're not going to make it. I really feel like they're not going to make it.
This holiday season is probably going to tank them, I think.
And it's like, I hate to see that, but that's how business works. That you've got the idea, you better run with it as far and as fast as you can.
And
I think they've tried, but I think it's just they're not in the position to keep it going.
They're throwing fouls all over the place.
Yeah, and that doesn't help for sure. So anyway, that's kind of what we wanted to look at today, just because we are people that have used MoviePass, and I've enjoyed the service. I haven't enjoyed all the fluctuation and all the nonsense, but when I get to go see a movie and use MoviePass and it works for me, those experiences have been great.
Yeah.
All the in-between, changing rules and not being able to book stuff and not being able to reserve stuff and all that has just been frustrating. And the lack of communication in those moments, it's like you open your app and it tells you that you can't, they're experiencing technical delay or technical difficulty, and then you find out 2 days later that they ran out of money and had to borrow $5 million. It's like, that wasn't a technical delay. That was you screwed up and lost. Didn't have the money to make your ends meet and had to borrow money. That's not a technical problem.
No,
technical problem leads me to believe the app is malfunctioning or there's an issue on that end of things, not that you've run out of money. Yeah, and so those kind of communicative issues just drive me nuts. It's like, just be honest. Just, hey, we had an issue, please forget. And they did that after the fact, but it's like, just be honest.
Again, in this age where information can pass quickly, that could have been somebody dropped the ball on the PR on that. Also, they needed to put that out there, and your lack of money falls under the category of not my problem. Yeah,
and it I wanted to bring this up earlier, which is that to me the companies that I want to continue to do business with are companies that put the customer first and don't renege on promises made. Like, I get that it's in the contract that they can do what they want to do, and that's fine. I do get it, and I'm not, me wanting to leave the service behind has little to do with that aspect and more to do with, if I have A-List, I don't need both. But when it comes to other companies and other services, it's like I can recall years ago having a thing with Amazon where the price on something that I ordered changed, and it changed drastically. Like it was a $10 thing. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but it was a $10 thing, which was a steal because it was like a $99 item, and it was listed for $10 or $10.99 or something like that. And so I ordered several different versions of that item, only to find out that there had been a pricing error on Amazon's end. So Amazon messaged me back. They had already sent 2 of them, and so they left the price on 2, and then they called me and said, well, these other 3 or 4, we had the price wrong on those, so they're going to be this price instead. And I didn't bother messaging or whatever. I called them and got somebody on the phone, and I said, listen, I don't understand how you mistakenly putting the wrong price on your website means that I, a loyal customer, suddenly has to pay more money for that. I don't see how that's my issue. That seems like your issue. And they agreed to take they agreed to use the price that they had mislabeled or whatever and give me the product for that price because they were more interested in keeping me as a customer than they were the profit of that particular sale.
Yeah.
That to me is good business. Now I get it that not every business can do that, and I get that MoviePass is bleeding money, and so they're not in that position. But when you are putting out emails and saying, well, now we have, if you want to do this, we got a new tier, it's $14.95, and you can still do the $9.95, or you can do the $7.95, or whatever, and depending on what you want. And no, we're going to scrap that. Now everything's $9.95, but if you want to see peak times, you got to add this price to it. Or if you want to do this thing, you got to do this, and you got to take a picture of your ticket. No, scrap all that. That didn't work. Now we're going to, do you understand? So it's like, I liked the service when it worked. But now you're making me feel like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make me feel comfortable as a client.
No.
That I'm going to be able to go and use your service in the way that I should be able to use it because I don't even know what the current set of rules are.
Yeah.
You've changed them so much that I don't know what's what anymore.
Yeah.
I'll have to pull out my phone and look at the new set of rules to even understand what's happening.
And all you want to do is just go see a movie.
Exactly. And so to me, that's the ultimate sorrow of this situation, that it didn't have to be this way.
No.
If your business model wasn't working and you needed to change it, figure that stuff out before you make the change. And then say, we're sorry about this. This is the only time we're going to do this, but this model isn't working. We're bleeding money. We want to keep serving you, so here's what we're going to do. But if you do that 2 or 3 times over the course of
like a few weeks,
a few weeks or a month or 2 months even, that's ridiculous. And you can't expect people to keep up with all of that.
No.
That's your side of things. That's you not handling your business well. And that shouldn't fall to me as a customer to figure that out.
No. It's
if,
supposed to be
if a store puts 3 different price tags on an item, I'm going to go up assuming I'm going to pay the lowest price on that. And if somebody else is, if they're trying to tell me that it's a different price or whatever, well, we priced it that, but then we had to raise the price. Well, you know what? You should have taken the other sticker off, or you should have made it clear, or you should have had a sign, or you should have done something to communicate the situation so that I could understand it in a clear way.
Yep.
And that's not what's happening here.
No.
So I hate this because I really do. I always root for the underdog.
Yeah, we've mentioned it more than a couple of times, even though they're not a sponsor. How
sure, yeah,
and how wonderful the service has been, and having us be able to go see more movies than we were able to go see before.
Because we really do want to do. We do a lot of trailer reactions on this channel. And we do a lot because they're easy to do and they're fast to do, but we really want to do more reviews and more other types of videos. We're not in that position right yet, but it's like
at least
with MoviePass, it was giving us the opportunity to see more films and to talk about them. We're not critics. We don't break down all the details and all the nuances, but we talk about what we like and what we don't like, hoping that it'll help, or at least to have a conversation with people like you. Yeah, so MoviePass was great for that, and we mentioned them several times because we really were grateful that we had something like that enabled us to see more films. But, it's just reached the point where it's hard to know whether they're going to be around next week.
Yeah.
And that's sad, because I really do root for the underdog, and I really do, like you said, they stirred things up, they shook up the industry, but what's happened is they shook it up and then in a panic because they didn't know
what to do with the bubbly fizz, the bubbly fizz that was coming out of it.
Then they hit a panic and suddenly they're changing rules left and right and every which way, and people are bailing and going, I don't know what's going on anymore. And AMC was like, oh well, we can do that better. We can do that better without the crazy without having to change things 8 million times.
Yeah, Stubs has
and we already
been-
have a customer base that we can offer it to.
Yeah.
And we already, you know what I mean?
Stubs has been solid the whole time you've had it. Now, we know that MoviePass and Stubs didn't work together, and we made sure we followed the rules on that.
Absolutely.
But Stubs has always been a solid thing for
which
us.
Which goes to tell you that Stubs was actually, even then, which was just a discount, it wasn't a free ticket, but even at that point, just being Stubs Premier, it felt more valuable to us to the point where we didn't want to screw that up.
Yeah,
we didn't want our
kept
using MoviePass to get us out of Stubs, or for Stubs to get us out of MoviePass. We kept them separate.
We kept them very separate.
But now we don't have to, because they've stepped in and said, well, we can do what MoviePass is doing, but we can do it better and more stable, and we'll still make plenty of money.
Yeah, and we can trust that they will do that.
I wish we could say the same for MoviePass,
I
and I really do.
I really do too.
I wish them luck. We may never figure out how to
Make it
remove
work.
ourselves
Yeah.
from there.
And the thing,
service,
so
but that's
we
fine.
did pay for a 1-year service, and Jeff will absolutely make use of that for the time that we have it.
Sure.
If some big thing comes along with MoviePass where they figured out how to make it work, make it right, and make it a good experience,
Solid, yeah.
there may be there may be some grace for that, and we may figure out how to make that work. But
right now, it just seems like a mess.
yeah,
And
unfortunately,
if you're anything like us, the last thing you want more of in your life is a mess.
or stress.
Yeah,
And
and
it's a
so
movie. It's supposed to be fun. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be work to figure out how it works.
yeah. So those are our thoughts on MoviePass. We just wanted to talk about it, get it out in the open, discuss it a little bit. Maybe you knew what was going on with them, maybe you didn't. We hope the discussion helped. If nothing else, you got to listen to us ramble on about something you don't care about for a little while. Anyway, that's always good for a laugh. You can just kind of point and say rude things. It works. If you have thoughts about MoviePass, pro or con, jump down into the comments below and let us know what you think down there. Or if you have signed up for the new AMC thing, you can let us know that too. We'd be interested to hear what you have to say about your
Or any
experience
of the
there as
other
well.
any of the other loyalty programs. Compare, contrast, tell us what works, what doesn't.
That's right.
We're interested.
We don't currently have a loyalty program. However, we do have a Patreon campaign. You can find us at patreon.com/poppopfizzle. You'll find us there. We don't have anything up there yet because we've just kind of launched it and gotten it started.
Yeah,
but
it's
we're
just
going to do some polls and some I lost my thought completely. Blooper reels.
Yeah.
Things like that, and we're going to ask some questions and let you guys chime in on some things that you want to see on the channel.
Yeah.
That's a good place for that, and it's only $1 a month. It's the only tier that we have. We're not looking for it to be a cash grab. We just want to start a community and have you guys feel like you're a part of everything. So if you have $1 a month to spare and you want to do that, jump over to Patreon and you can do that. We'll put the link down here somewhere where you can find it. Anyway, until next time, folks.
Bye.
Bye.